do that. That's all right, though. That's all right.
No excuse. Step out, please.
You're exactly what I thought you'd be. Come on, Hood. Let's go. That's why I should never come to sport. I knew she'd do that. All I know is she wasn't there when I came back from Oregon, and nobody told me nothing.
He lied in the court. He been staying there for at least 4 or 5 months.
I came in, I asked Mario. He just pointed and said, go talk to Miss Chan. He didn't want to tell me a word.
I tell him, that's your responsibility. Don't put me on.
I went and talked to her.
Gianna claims Regina's kids, 11-year-old Shardesha Hopkins and 9-year-old Shamara Hopkins, scratched it with rocks.
This is case number 406 on the calendar in the matter of Hodges versus Smith. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. And ladies, have a seat.
Tell me your name.
Micaiah Hodges.
How old are you, Micaiah?
I'm 10 years old.
10. What's your name?
Shardesha Hopkins. Shamira Hopkins.
How old are you?
11.
And you?
9.
Stand up with your mother. You too. Are you a friend of Makia's?
No.
Why not?
Because she's always, sticking her middle finger up at somebody. She's always getting smart and on her ass.
I didn't understand that. I didn't understand what you said, so you have to say it slower.
Okay. She's always putting her eyes at people. She's always trying to get smart. And
Putting her eyes on people?
Rolling her
Rolling her eyes.
Yes.
She's rolling her eyes.
Rolling up.
I'm trying to understand.
sticking her finger up at people. She's always saying cuss words and stuff at people.
Really? So what do you do to her when she does that to you?
Pulled her hair.
Now, she didn't pull your hair, did she? Did she pull your hair before you pulled her hair? Make sure you tell the truth. No. Now, were you alone when you pulled her hair?
No.
Who were you with?
My sister and my cousin
And where were you when you pulled her hair?
at her house.
What were you doing at her house?
She was in front of her house with her friends and she was supposed to be in the backyard and she came in the front.
What did you go to her house for?
We play in front of her house
Why don't you play in front of your house?
because we be with her friends and
Because you were trying to annoy her.
no.
Which one of you scratched Mrs. Hodges' car? Raise your hand.
Neither.
Case is about your 2 daughters who have been harassing this little girl, right?
Well, that's
Seems to me, based upon 3 minutes worth of questioning, that that's what's going on here, and I'm only getting a part of the story. Because rolling of the eyes does not equate to putting your hands on somebody else, right?
well, another child might feel a little differently about being harassed in the window and out the door and out the window when her
What?
mother's not paying attention
What?
to her rolling her eyes, sticking up her middle finger. That's right,
Apple
to
doesn't
another
fall far from
child.
the tree. That's what we got. We got an apple that doesn't fall far from the tree. We've got a mother who doesn't say to her children, you don't put your hands on somebody else, even if they roll their eyes or if they say bad words to you, which I doubt happened. Which I doubt happened. But when you have a mother who condones it, then you have trouble. That's what happens. So it's up to you to take control of Smarty Pants and her sister over here and explain to them that you don't put your hands on another person unless they touch you first. And it's guaranteed.
Well, that's what you
Guaranteed. That's what I know.
Well-
And I've been in the business a lot longer than you've been
say.
alive.
Well, that's what you say.
That's what I know. Not what I say, what I know.
Who said that I haven't taught them?
Well, you just said to me, that's the way a child reacts if somebody rolls
Well, I
their
said
eyes.
that's a child reaction, but I have talked to my children. They had no business putting their hands on a little girl. whether she's
Fine,
doing
that's
it or
all you
not.
have to say to me.
After all, I am a mother of 6, and I
Good.
do know how to raise children.
Well,
Well.
did you punish them for doing what they did?
Yes, I did.
Tell me how you punished them.
You see, I would make them stay in, and they wouldn't be allowed to play at their girlfriend's house, who does live down there in the neighbor's block.
Well, that sounds like you're making it up as you're going along.
Oh,
Mrs.
well.
Hodges, let's get on to the car. What happened with the car?
It was in August. I heard laughing outside of my door, and it was a long time with these girls coming down to the house. They went into my yard to get my daughter. That day, they were kicking my door and screaming, and I, it's at the front of the house. I looked out the window and I saw them out there. I didn't know what they were doing, and then I saw them run. It was the next morning that I came out and saw that they had scratched the car.
You have a police report?
Yes, I did.
Can I see it?
I also have pictures of the car.
Do you have a follow-up report from the officer?
Yeah, what he did was he spoke to.
No. What I want to know is if there was a follow-up report indicating that the officer spoke to Mrs. Smith and her girls. The officer come to speak to you
Yes, he did.
and your girls.
He spoke to me.
Did he speak to the girls?
Yes, he did speak to one of the girls.
Which one did he speak to?
He spoke to Shardasia.
Did you tell the police officer that you had scratched the car?
No.
Did you tell the police officer who scratched the car?
No, ma'am.
Did you tell the police officer you were there when somebody scratched the car?
Yes.
What did they scratch the car with?
I think it was a rock.
You think it was a rock? I want you to hold up your hand and tell me how big the rock was.
About this big.
What color was the rock?
Rough edges.
Rough edges. Yeah. So we know that the rock was about this size, brown, and it had rough edges on it. Now, who was carrying it?
My cousin,
Your cousin who?
Tashina.
And who used it to scratch the car?
This girl named Justice.
Justice has a last name?
I don't know her last name.
Do you know her last name?
No, I don't.
Now, did you tell that to your mother?
No.
Is this the first time you're telling your mother that your cousin had the rock and Justice was the one who used the rock? Is this the first time you're telling your mother that? Your mother's looking like, yes, that this is the first time she's hearing that from you.
Yes.
You think that I believe you?
No.
I don't believe you either.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. It says, her neighbors, 11-year-old Shardasia Hopkins and 9-year-old Shamara Hopkins, scratched her car with rocks. Gianna also says the girls have been terrorizing her daughter, Micaiah.
Young lady, you are always in life going to meet people that are smarter than you are. Because I know that you think that you're a hotshot. You're 11 years old and you know a lot, but you know nothing. So when you tell the truth, you don't have to have a good memory. When you make up stories and you lie, you have to have a very good memory. Do you understand that concept?
Yes.
I don't know it either, but your mother does. Can I see pictures of the damage to the car, please?
Well, Your Honor, may I say something?
Sure.
I seen the car, and I stopped and I knocked on Mrs. Hodges' door. And I spoke to her at that time, my daughter and I, and she showed me an estimate or told me that she had an estimate for her car for $255. She said I was going to get another estimate, and the estimate was cheaper estimate. So I said, okay.
$255 is pretty. Listen,
Okay,
I'm looking at the damage here.
Well, that's what I would have, thought.
Just a minute. So what you're telling me
She
is what your daughter did do
Of
the
course,
damage.
I have a problem with
Well,
that.
that's not. Then the damage is not the issue right now.
Okay, I understand that, but
Right now we have to. There are two stages to this process.
Yes,
First, we have to figure out who did the damage, and I am satisfied that she did the damage, and so are you. So are you. She knows
How
we
do you
have
know?
a rock this size, brown in color with ragged edges that was used by somebody by the name of Justice, whose name she doesn't remember. And it's the first time since this whole thing happened that she's telling you this story, because before that she told you, I don't know anything. I was there with my friends. I didn't do anything. I mean, coming into a courtroom setting and dealing with somebody who's been around the block a couple of times, I usually get to the bottom of it. The only problem is she's not going to say to you right now, it was me. So she'll make up a story. That's why we went to the rock first. Do you understand?
I understand.
Who did the damage? Because she didn't see who did the damage. She saw a bunch of kids out there. These two girls were near her car, which is why she came to you, which is why she called the police.
Who did the damage? If
She
I
doesn't.
didn't see who done it.
Just a second. Let me tell you something. She said she had seen the girls and she sent the police to your house. Even if I find that she didn't see the girls, I just got a confession from your daughter. You're not following it, but your daughter just confessed to me that the person with the brown rock with jagged edges about this size, but in somebody else's hand, did the damage to the car. And if you believe that I am going to make
Well,
this
of course
award,
I
listen to
believe
me.
my daughter.
listen.
I believe my daughter.
Well, you do?
Yes.
Did you believe her when she told you she didn't do anything?
Well, she was with her friends.
No.
She was with
No,
her
listen to
friends,
me.
and because the
Did
little
you-
girl don't have any
did
friends,
you
and she
believe
was
her
with
when
her
she
friends, and
said-
she has 10 or 15 friends?
Oh, college you're never going to see. Can I see the estimate,
Yeah,
please?
well, I won't.
No, you
Could
won't.
could I say something, please?
You won't. A detention facility, maybe you'll see, but college you won't see. Say nothing, please. There will always be bullies. There will always be people that travel in packing her, whether they like her, whether they don't like her, whether they think she's good looking, her mother's good looking, her baby is good looking. Whatever it is, they're traveling in a pack, and they're doing the wrong thing, and they are being encouraged by pack behavior and your behavior, because you're not taking what they do seriously. This is unpleasant, amoral, criminal behavior, and if you don't take it seriously, I'm telling you, college no, detention facility yes. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,300. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Like Judge Judy said, they roam as a pack, which is why my daughter is not out there with them.
She calls it a pack. I call it my daughter heavy friend.
My mother has taught me better than to do those kind of things.
They're out late. They're making noise. They're doing things, and I don't know if it's not just those two.
No, my children are never out of the house after 8 o'clock.
They actually need to be taught to, not to damage someone's property.
It doesn't matter. My children did not do.
4-year-old